What we are going to talk about in this video is the allegation that I've been hearing a lot more often lately, that I am a disgruntled employee. Now, I have noticed that there's a lot more pro-Trmet stuff coming around on the social media, Twitter, Facebook, comments on various posts. And I know, because I follow this so closely, that a lot of this is coming from Trmet themselves. Now, I've noticed definitely that they have become much more proactive on Twitter. Finally, they've started taking the social media phenomenon seriously. They tried to ignore it for years and years because they couldn't control it, but I think they are finally getting serious about making their voice heard, because basically I've been the dominant voice, and they know it, of the anti-Trmet culture. Now, that leads me to the next point. Am I a disgruntled employee? And to that, I have a firm no. I am not a disgruntled employee. I've never been a disgruntled employee. There's no manager at Trmet that I hate personally. I have no vendetta against anybody. You know, I don't, and that's the God's honest truth. Now, what I am is a disillusioned Trmet employee. Disillusioned. Now, I spent 15 years of my life there, and I put it to you that I'm probably one of the most dedicated employees in the entire history of Trmet, because I didn't just go there, make my money, and go home. I went in there and actually became part of the actual scene. I started participating in the social media, and I was the first person to have a blog, which was detailing my experiences at Trmet. Now, I want to point out that in the 15 years that I was at Trmet, I was never disciplined for any behavior on the bus. I was actually an excellent bus driver. I actually enjoyed the work. I was good technically. I kept that bus on time, and I enjoyed my passengers. I knew I had the respect that's needed to the people that you're taking. I never had a dispute with a passenger. I've never been threatened by a passenger. I think that's a credit to me. The only problems I ever had at Trmet were with my blog and their attempts to stop me from publishing information. Specifically, they got upset about me publishing the accident reports, which were internal documents. They did not want those published. They will not allow any publication of any information that shows Trmet in a bad light. Now, really, this should be obvious to everybody at this point. I don't need to tell you this. You'll never hear anything negative coming out of them, and all of the material that comes out of them is nothing but self-congratulatory crap. You know, and this is what I was dealing with there. I started blogging. I started trying to be truthful about my experiences there, and that's where I ran into the trouble. Now, everything was fine. I had a push-pull relationship with the management under Fred Hanson's rule, but they had a respect for freedom of speech, and they weren't afraid of the truth. Now, Neil McFarlane comes along, and now all of a sudden I start getting, well, the watershed event. I'm sure this is what caused the phony write-up. I got a phony write-up for not calling stops when I did, but that was as a result of the yellow line crash. That video I put out, sent it over to Joe Rose. He made a big story out of it. They hauled me into the office, and they put it quite bluntly to me. That either you give up the source of that information or you have to take the fall. Now, I didn't really know what they meant by that, but what it meant was, okay, now they're going to send in bogus reports about me. That's what it meant, because there's nothing, they couldn't get me on any of my bus behavior, because I was a good driver to their chagrin, I'm sure. So then they made up that phony complaint about calling stops. And of course, when you have a phony complaint, you're always looking over your shoulder, worried about more phony complaints. And I left soon thereafter. I'm sure they were happy to see me go, but I didn't leave. That's part of my point, is that I'm very much, Trmet is very much part of me at this point. I still think about them. I still follow them. I'm still involved with the politics. I mean, that makes me more dedicated than somebody like Fred Hanson, who saw Trmet as his ticket to make a whole bunch of money, scam himself a ridiculous retirement, and then go on to the next subject, which is Australia. All with the complicit board of sock puppets who just handed away the store. He wasn't dedicated because he just came here to self-aggrandize himself and make money. And then he takes off and he leaves a huge mess. I'm more dedicated than people like that. I'm more dedicated than 99% of the people that work there because I actually cared about things there. And I still care. So no, I am not a disgruntled employee. I'm a disillusioned employee because they tried so hard to stop me from expressing my free speech. They resorted to make manufacturing complaints, writing me up for things that the public could do, but because I was a Trmet employee, I was not able to do it. I mean, the farce of that, saying that I couldn't publish a dispatch call over the airwaves when every citizen in the United States can do that, but I couldn't because it started snowballing. So I became a very disillusioned Trmet employee. And I vowed right then and there that to continue my fight. I mean, I am a creation of the Trmet management. I don't think they realize that they created the obsession in me. I was perfectly happy just being left alone, but they continued to fight me, and it's created somewhat of an obsessional personality with this material. I'm a product of them. Now, let's take it the next step. Now, it turns out that Trmet retirees who retired under what they thought was a particular set of agreements now don't have those agreements. They're saying that everything that was agreed upon in the past is now moot. That is something that I'm not going to walk away from. I will fight as long as I can to expose these people for the hypocrites they are. Okay, they're lying hypocrites. They set up Lane Jensen for a fall. They're lying about their unions. They say, oh, we want the union, but all their actions are to bust the union. No, I am not a disgruntled employee. I'm an employee, an ex-employee who's interested in the truth, and we're never going to get the truth from those people at Trmet. And lately I've been seeing posts around, Al is nothing but a disgruntled employee who's out to do something and sue the company because he's disgruntled. No, I'm suing the company because they've been ripping us off on our road relief pay, okay? They're in violation of federal law. That's got nothing to do with my grudge or my so-called grudge. That has to do with them ripping us off. And they've been taking advantage of their bus drivers for all the years I was there. They were taking advantage of me. And we got nothing back for that. So get your facts straight. I'm not disgruntled, but I'm hell-bent on getting the truth out to people.